Welcome to the Bruins Benders Podcast, Season 3, Episode 52, with Maddie and Smitty. It's brought to you on the Inside the Ring Podcast Network. InsideTheRink.com is your one-stop shop for all your NHL, AHL, and ECHL news, insight, and analysis. This is Season 3. It is Episode 52, and we are into the top 15 prospects. Hit subscribe on the Inside the Rink's YouTube channel. All subscribers are eligible for the NHL jersey giveaway. Jersey of your choice from Fanatics. The winner selected in late August. And also follow this QR code on your screen. To purchase event tickets through Ticketmaster, plenty of Patriots tickets available. And you can get them right through this link and help support our show. Follow us each on X. Smitty is at Benders Smitty. And I am at Mr. Matty Barry. And here we are again in the dog days of off season. We're not a hell of a lot going on. We're squeezed out some chirps for today. But I also wanted to talk to you about this right-handed, left-handed thing that I saw on the tweet where there are more left-handed shots, double, in fact, than right-handed shots in the league. Why do you think that is?
Because there's more right-handed people than left-handed people.
Yeah, okay.
And hockey, you're supposed to play opposite of what your hand is. So
Are you?
Yeah. So your dominant hand is your top hand because that's your stick handling hand. So that's the way that it should actually be. That's how they do it in Canada. But in the U.S., we're a little more lenient. We just give a kid a stick and say, "How do you feel? Shoot with it that way. Shoot with it that way. Go ahead. Yeah, however you're comfortable." And then that's how it goes.
Really? Yeah. So there's a method to this that the Canadians have
there's a real method. And the Canadians will tie you up and make you, force you.
Flog you, will they?
Flog you with, Canadian bacon and maybe waterboard you with maple syrup, possibly.
I'll tell you what. That sounds like a good Saturday night.
It really does.
Because I like bacon and maple syrup.
I like maple syrup, sure.
Yeah, maple syrup
and then they try to drown you in a Molson.
Ooh, Molson Canadian.
Or a little Bat's Blue.
I'll tell you what, give it to me ice cold.
Yeah.
Molson Canadian ice cold. Give it to me. Give it to me ice cold. I can get it down. I can get 5 or 6 or 8 down.
12. Yeah. You're a ice cold beer guy.
I'm an ice cold beer. Like ice cold beer. If it's ice cold, I'll suck that bitch down.
Yeah, you'll drink it no matter what.
Oh my goodness. Right. I mean, I'll drink lukewarm beer, whatever. But if it's ice cold, I'm firing.
Curtis is chiming in as a Canadian who coached for years. That's not true.
Not true. Blasphemy.
Yeah. Well, Curtis, what is the truth? You can't handle the truth, Curtis.
I don't know. Well, how do we know the truth?
We don't know the truth. We don't know anything. That's what I heard. I mean, I'm old, and so Curtis, you might be younger than me, but back in the day, I'm pretty sure that's how they did it.
They did it way back in the day. They also had all the French Canadians play for Montreal.
Yeah,
they like skewed it. Skewed the draft.
Yeah, because you could draft from your home province or your home area. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Curtis is not having it.
No, he was pretty passionate that was not the case. But I am right-handed in every way.
Yeah.
And I shoot with my right on the right side of the stick. So I'm a Cam Neely guy, I guess.
Yeah. I'm left-handed and I shoot right-handed in hockey.
You shoot right-handed, yeah. You're the opposite. You do it right.
I do it the Canadian way, Curtis. Yeah. I do it the right way.
Right. The Canadians. It was National Left-Handed Day yesterday.
Yeah. I celebrated.
That was you. Did you?
Not at all.
No.
I did not celebrate.
You know what we have to do? I was watching Portnoy. You know what? I started watching those Portnoy pizza reviews.
Yeah.
And I watched it like the first time. I was like, this is kind of silly. Why does he do this? Now I'm telling you, I am enamored. Like I am totally locked in to all of them. I have no idea why, but because they are silly. But I watched them all, and I'm thinking we should review something.
Yeah,
like we should review something. I
do it. I mean, I do review things on my own from my own personal already. Pretty much any place that I go to that has a chicken parm on the menu, I'm ordering it.
Okay, I was thinking of that.
And so I rank chicken parms right now. I do it already. I rank them.
Okay, and you and Butchie can tweet back and forth.
Yeah. Butchie's a big chicken parm. John Butchie,
big guy.
From ESPN, big chicken parm guy.
Yeah,
he actually, crazy thing, producer Connor. He actually has a son, I believe, named Tyler. So
yes, he does.
It is not me.
Mm-hmm. Like a scratch golfer too.
Yeah. He is, and so is John, the big guy.
Yeah, he can golf like hell.
Both those guys can golf like hell.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get invited to their next golf trip. That'd be fun.
Yeah, the next golf. I'd be up for the next golf trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went to Ireland.
We should mix that into the YouTube channel as do some sort of review.
So chicken parm, and I think ice cream might be a good one.
Ooh, ice cream's another good one. But I love the chicken parm idea. We just go around at restaurants. You're close to Providence, where there's a million good Italian restaurants.
Correct.
And good chicken parm everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere you want to be. So.
Oh, Jack and Brett. So Tyler Butchergross is not actually a real person.
Oh, well, it can be you, I guess. If he adopts you.
I guess it is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting everything wrong, Curtis.
Yeah, I know.
Producer.
Well, sometimes you know what? That's the whole sports radio way now. You just kind of say shit.
Yeah.
You don't have to check it or anything. Don't check it.
Producer Connor is checking us.
Yeah, he checks us. He's a fact. We should do a Colin Cowherd, like where Smitty was wrong. Yeah, and go back. So that was not right.
You're wrong too sometimes.
Yeah, I am wrong all the time. All right, Seven Chirps is sponsored by Lobster Brewing, Lobster Brewery and Tasting Room in downtown Woonsocket, Rhode Island, specializing in small batch ales and lagers, open 7 days a week. Use the coupon code SPORTS for 10% off your online order at lopsbrewing.com. Go to Lops Brewing for new beers and events, and we'll be announcing. Maybe we'll announce it next week or next couple weeks, or right before the season starts.
Yeah, it's a good time.
We'll announce a little action going on at Lops Brewing.
Yeah.
But hey, we're into top 15 prospects now. So this is really where we get to the nitty gritty. And number 15 is defenseman Michael Callahan. And Michael was picked up from the Arizona Coyotes for a 7th round pick 1,000,001 days ago.
He went to Providence College now.
He did. He was a Providence Friar. Mm-hmm. Good little defenseman, played much for the Providence Bruins last season. Is kind of on the borderline of being a guy who could be called up this season. There's an injury here or there.
Yeah.
And he would be probably, him and Regula probably the first couple of candidates there if someone does go down.
I think so. Yeah, he's been pretty good for Providence.
He has
played in all situations and is having himself a pretty good little career down there, and he will, I think, be in the mix there for the Bruins if there are any injuries or anything like that during the season. Yeah,
and with Mason Lohrei back now up with the big club, and now Callahan gets a bunch of time. He's 24 years old from Franklin, Massachusetts. He was a 5th round pick, of the Arizona Coyotes in 2018. And then is now with the Bruins organization last season, 70 games. He was an assistant captain. He had 4 goals and 13 assists for 17 points. He was a captain also with the Providence College Friars. So again, Donnie Sweeney loves himself a captain.
A captain and a local guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's a double dip. I mean, and talk about love.
Local guy, local college, really checking all the boxes there.
Hockey East, local guy. Yeah, captain. I mean,
there you go.
Jesus.
I mean, that's the Sweeney trifecta.
There's some liquid flowing in here, I'll tell you. That's oh boy. Hey, number 14 is Ryan Walsh. Ryan Walsh was drafted recently by the Boston Bruins, and he is up to number 14 on this very list. Cornell University is Ryan. So the Bruins have a lot of people playing in the NCAA this year, which is good. You can get some access to them. You can see them rather than having a bunch of guys overseas.
Yeah. Is Cornell the Big Red? Is that Cornell?
Cornell's the Big Red. Yeah.
Yeah.
This young fellow is from Rochester, New York. He's 20 years old, 6 foot, 181 center. He was a 6th-round pick in the 2023 draft. With Cornell last season, his rookie is freshman year, 12 goals, 10 assists in 35 games. So a pretty good year for him in his freshman year.
Absolutely.
After having 79 points in the USHL with the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. And 61 games. So he played at Salisbury School Prep. He has scored goals everywhere he has been. Another late rounder. And as elite prospects say, Welsh's game is all about the details. Offensively, he's always open. When he can't be, he skates into groups of defenders to create space for his teammates.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I like the sound of all that. I like the fact that he had a good year as a freshman, too.
Yes.
At Cornell. So
yes, that's usually a good sign.
Playing in against pretty good competition there. And I believe that's what is that? The ECAC?
That's the ECAC.
Yep.
Yeah. The old ECAC.
Yeah. Yeah. Good signs. All good signs. So hopefully he continues his upward trajectory. They always could use some prospects to fill out their prospect pool because we all know that they struggle a little bit there. Bruins do. So any kind of hit in a later round is always going to be a good thing.
Number 13 is 2023 4th rounder Beckett Hendrickson is at 13. Intriguing prospect, 19 years old from Minnetonka, Minnesota. He is going to play this season with the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. And he was a teammate of Chris Pelosi, who we'll be talking about very briefly here. And the two of them played on the line together, played very well together in the USHL. So right now, Beckett Hendrickson is at 13, climbing the charts. And this is a big boy at 6'2", 180 pounds, center, left shot. So he must be right-handed. And he played with the Sioux Falls Stampede with Pelosi and then moved on to the Dubuque Fighting Saints mid-year. But he had a total last season of 64 points in 57 games.
Always a positive.
Pretty good.
More points than games is always a positive.
Always you get a point per game. You're in the mix as one of the better players in whatever league you're in.
Absolutely.
No question about it. Number 12 is Trevor Kuntar, former BC Eagle, a grinder, little fire hydrant, spark plug kind of guy. Bottom 6 forecasted for Kuntar. Has a real chance in camp here to open some eyes and potentially get a look in Boston at some point this season. He's a kind of a get to the net, grind it out, aggressive forechecker. All the things that the Bruins like to try to be. You talk about hard to play against and all that nonsense. Well, this is kind of what that looks like, I guess, with a guy like Kuntar.
Yeah, I think he has a similar playing style to Brandon Gallagher, although we can't stand Gallagher. If he's a guy that's Kuntar, if he's a guy that's on your team, you're going to love a guy like that. That's going to, get to the dirty areas, mix things up, antagonize the other team, all little things to help his team win. And he's, got some offensive talent, got some good touch. So he would be, a pretty welcome addition to the fourth line. I think he probably will get a look at some point during the year with some injuries and whatnot. He'll probably get a look on the fourth line with Boston and have an opportunity to, show what he can do at the NHL level.
Without question, he had 10 goals and 10 assists for 20 points in 70 games last season with the Bruins. 6 foot, 200 pounds, and as we said, strong guy, stocky frame, really grinds it out, aggressive forechecker. Those are the types of things that'll get you in the league. As we see with guys like Jakob Lauko. Whether or not you can stay in the league is a different story.
Yeah,
it's about consistency and the things that you talked about in the past. But Kuntar is definitely a guy, a former top 10 scorer in the USHL, has a chance to be, at least get a sniff of the roster this season. And then number 11, Chris Pelosi, who was a 3rd round pick, 92 overall in 2023, former teammate of Beckett Hendrickson, Pelosi's been kind of the prize right now of the recent draft picks in an intriguing player at 6'1", 180 pounds, a center. He has produced more and more as he's played along here. He had 55 points in 56 games with the Sioux Falls Stampede as an assistant captain last season. And now he goes on to Quinnipiac University this year, a very good program, was won a championship in the recent past. And he has a chance to be on the, play against good competition and be in the spotlight in the NCAA and see what he can do.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good prospect. He's played well wherever he's been in the past. He has good size. He is a center and he's got good offensive talent. Quinnipiac, they run a good program where they have guys that really compete every night. So I think he'll fit in really well there. And like you said, they'll play against good competition and it'll be interesting to see how some of these guys do, like Pelosi, like Hendrickson, do in their first years in college hockey. Because, as much as, doing well in minor league hockey or the USHL is college hockey, some of the guys you're playing against can be 23, 24 years old. So,
Sure.
you're going to be playing against guys who probably, are stronger than you as if you're coming in as a freshman. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys can adapt to the college game and what they can do and how they can produce at that level.
No question. He was he's a Sewell, New Jersey native who played one season with the Mount St. Charles powerhouse in Rhode Island.
Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
Woonsocket. Yeah. Woonsocket.
Home of Lob's Throwing.
Yeah, without question. And many of Connor Green's former girlfriends. Chirp number 2. The new Bruins play-by-play voice is, same as the old one.
Yeah.
Is Judd Sirott. Judd Sirott moves from radio to TV. It's a pretty good move that was really predictable. I mean, the Bruins rarely go kind of outside the house. They keep it close. They you can say whether or not they pay a ton and all that stuff. They typically never really go out and get like national guys to do these types of things. And it's kind of a smaller organization that way in a sense. And Sirott, who has done a really good job on the radio, moves over now. And I think he'll be better on the TV.
I agree. I think it's like you said, it's a pretty predictable hire. The Bruins were never going to go outside the organization and pay big money for a big name guy to come in. That's just not how they operate. Mm-hmm. So now it'll be interesting to see who gets the job on the radio side. I heard there were over 200 applicants.
Right.
But my guess is it will probably be someone, if not in-house, a young up-and-comer. I think probably it will be Ryan Johnston, who's already on 98.5 The Sports Hub, who has the Bruins rights. So I think it will probably be Ryan Johnston. But you never know. They could hire some up-and-comer, and we'll see what happens with that. But, Sirott's a good hire, and I think like you said, I think he will do a good job on the TV side of things.
I think so. Brickley stays with him, and I think I'm in agreement with you. I think Johnston is the guy. Many lobbied for him to get the TV thing, and people continue to lobby for him on social media to get it. So I think that since he's at 98.5 The Sports Hub and he's in the hockey realm, he hosts the hockey shows too.
Yeah,
so
on Saturday mornings,
on Saturday morning. So he's kind of in there. So I think he definitely gets the radio gig too. So I like the Sirott hire in that. I really think Sirott, his style is going to play to TV. He's going to bring the energy. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be pretty good with that. Radio is really hard. Radio is really hard to do.
Because
Johnston comes in.
Hockey's such a fast game. Describing hockey on the radio
oh my goodness,
next to impossible. So
it is.
I think there's only a handful of guys who are ever really, really, truly great at it. One of them was at Boston with Bob Wilson. He was tremendous.
Oh, Bob Wilson was the best. The best.
And so I think you're right. I think he moving over to TV with Judd will do he'll do well with that, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Chirp 3. Toronto Maple Leafs have taken the captaincy away from John Tavares and given it to Auston Matthews. Is this just a technicality and the fact that Matthews is one of the best players in the world and be there for a long time? Or could Tavares eventually be on the way out?
I mean, we've talked about it. They are spending too much money on that group of guys. And if you picked one to be on the way out, to me, it would be Tavares because he's the oldest. And he doesn't produce as much as the other guys do. So to me, he's the one that should be out. So is that some foreshadowing that Tavares might be the one that's gone? Yeah, I think maybe it is. But at the same time, Auston Matthews should be the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sure. He is their best player. They go how he goes. So, it was only a matter of time before I think that happened. And why not now when Tavares is certainly older and less productive and possibly on the way out. So, Matthews should have assumed the captaincy maybe even sooner than now. Sure. But he finally gets it. And that's really the way it should be up there.
I think it also gives Matthews a little bit of added responsibility and kind of keeps him in check kind of thing. Like, he's the captain now. And now he's not only the superstar and the best player on the team, one of the best players on the planet, but he's now the captain and the face and all of it. And I think that keeps him in a, not that he's someone who gets out of line or I mean, he's pretty remarkably consistent, to be honest. But, it just gives him that little bump.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good move for them. And I think Tavares is the guy. Obviously, Marner will give you a better return probably. But I think that if you really want to kind of make that one move that clears some money and changes your dynamic a bit, you move on from Tavares, to be honest. But, we'll see what happens there. Chirp number 4. Here's a look at the entire top 10 goalies per NHL Network. And number 4 on the list is Jeremy Swayman of the Bruins. Number 10 is Linus Ullmark, now of the Senators. Number 1 was Igor Shesterkin. Number 2, Connor Hellebuck. 3 was Andrei Vasilevsky. And then 5 was Ilya Sorokin.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. Vasilevsky, I think, probably is down. I think that's more of a reputation thing than anything else. I think he did not have as good of a year last year as he has in previous years. But he was all world in previous years. So maybe slipping a little bit, he does fall to 3, maybe from higher up on the list. But you can make an argument that, maybe he's a little lower on the list. Other than that, I mean, I really don't have a problem with it. You could probably put Ullmark a little bit higher. But, overall, I would say that those probably are the 10 best goalies in the NHL at this point in time.
Yeah. And you have 6, you have Thatcher Demko. 7, Sergei Bobrovsky was interesting. He wasn't even, the year before last, he wasn't even the starter. Alex Lyon was playing over him and, but now Bob has made, he's just made a 180. And then Jake Ottinger and Saros at 8 and 9, and then Ullmark at 10. And I think I'm with you. I think this is largely fairly accurate. Probably quick kick Vasilevsky down under Swayman, particularly by midseason. I think you'll see that happen. But I think this is a decent list.
I think it's probably pretty good. I think if Demko doesn't get hurt, maybe he's a little higher on the list. I think, Ottinger, has certainly shown flashes of being a top 5 goalie in the league. But, if your team, doesn't win or you lose series, you tend to fall down a little bit. The only reason Swayman's that high is because he was amazing in the series that they lost and had an unbelievable playoff in a losing effort. So, overall, I think it's a pretty good list.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see what happens. We got another couple of months before the season starts. We got a month until training camp. We'll see what happens with we'll chat about Jeremy Swayman in just a minute. But chirp number 5 St. Louis Blues with 2 offer sheets out of nowhere for 2 Edmonton Oilers players. What did Edmonton do to piss off the St. Louis GM?
I know.
This is
Jesus.
unbelievable.
We got like naked pictures of
Yeah.
that guy. So Frank Saravelli reports that offer sheet by the St. Louis Blues to Philip Broberg, 2 years at a little over $4.5 million, and then Dylan Holloway, 2-year deal at 2.29. Compensation due is a 3rd-round pick for Holloway and a 2nd-round pick for Broberg. $1 more on AAV for each player would have bumped up the compensation. So they went right to the top of the compensation level that they could. St. Louis had to make a trade with Pittsburgh to reacquire a 2nd-round pick in order to have the compensation necessary to make the offer sheet. So they're trying to grab these guys out from underneath Edmonton. Edmonton's up against the cap. They're saying now possibly that Evander Kane may need surgery and may go on long-term IR. So maybe there's a way there for Edmonton to kind of circumvent the cap and be able to keep their guys for now, because when Kane comes back, there's going to be some moves that need to be made. So it'll be interesting to see. Edmonton has a week to match. I believe the offer was 2 days ago. Is that right?
2 days ago, yeah.
So Edmonton has a week to match, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. They have a pretty good roster overall. They were a Stanley Cup finalist, so they don't probably want to mess with the roster too much. Couple of additions, but those are 2 guys that they probably don't want to lose, but they may not necessarily want to pay them those rates either.
Sure.
So it'll be interesting to see how this all kind of shakes out in the next, over the next 4 or 5 days.
Well, Kane makes 5.13. So if he goes on long term, they recoup that.
Yeah. So you get the 4.5. You'd have enough for that signing, and then I believe they were $1 million or so over the cap. So it would probably be a smaller player that they'd have to get rid of in order to sign the other guy.
Right. It'd be interesting to see if they keep both guys. They may let one of them go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's interesting because there's only been 2 in the cap bearer that have been offered and signed, and one was Kotkaniemi just a couple of years ago. And then there was another. I can't remember who the other one was, but it was Penner, Dustin Penner.
Yeah.
From Anaheim to Edmonton or wherever it was. So only 2. So usually this is a gentleman's handshake. Like, you just don't do this. Like, you just let the thing play out. Let the team take their guy, so that if you do go out and sign an offer sheet and do that dickhead move, like, they're going to get you back at some way down the line. So it's just kind of this like gentleman's, like, I won't hurt you if you don't hurt me kind of thing. Nobody touched anybody, and just let the thing play out. Or someone would have offered Swayman by now, for God's sakes. Like,
you would.
It's just, so then the first thing I thought of when I saw this was like, oh shit, are we starting this trend now of RFA offers? Is someone going to offer to Swayman now? Like, oh my God. Like, so
the only thing I can think of is there's back channels that have happened between Swayman and teams that would have possibly wanted to offer sheet, because I believe his agent was saying that he wanted to get an offer sheet. Like, they wanted that to happen. At some point. So I feel like the amount of money that Swayman is demanding reaches a certain level where teams are like, I'm not giving up that much in compensation to sign a goalie to that type of money in contract. And that's the only reason that I can think of that a team hasn't offered him, because teams are always looking for goalies. So if somebody's going to, offer sheet 2 guys on the same team, they certainly would offer sheet Swayman. So I think maybe what he's looking for is a little too rich for the teams around the league's blood, maybe.
Yeah. Right. All right. Trip 6, 98.5 The Sports Hub in Boston is celebrating their 15-year anniversary. For the last 119 months, they were only 1 month they were not number 1. And that was July of 2019, right after the Bruins lost to the Blues. And as Michael Felger said, it was probably just that people were like, I don't want to watch any of it. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to hear about it. It's interesting.
I'm 100. I'm there. That's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is 100% me. When the Bruins lost, I was like, I don't want to hear about hockey. I don't want to talk about hockey. I don't want to listen to hockey.
No.
I don't want to hear anything to do with hockey. I don't want to hear anything to do with sports in general. Like, get me away from sports. So I probably was a month of music there myself. So, probably ZLX was probably number one that month, I bet.
Yeah, probably. BCN or who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, BCN's gone. It's ZLX or WOR, ROR or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. And we even see it here. Like if the Bruins win a playoff game, a ton of people on here dropping comments, doing their thing. And then there's less when they lose. Like people shut it off and be like, screw this. I'm going to put on the Golden Girls marathon and cry myself to sleep, So, and I think that happens. And I do that same thing. Like if back in the day when the Red Sox, if they lost a big game, I would not watch SportsCenter. Like I would not watch it because I don't want to see the highlight of the Yankees with da 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 and the whole. I don't want to see that again.
I'm with you.
I don't want to see it. So that makes perfect sense. And it's funny that the only month in 119 months, holy moly, was that month right there. Well, they didn't win.
Yeah, it shows you what a heartbreaking fucking loss that was. Sorry, John.
It was incredibly heartbreaking. We saw the video of McAvoy crying and Marchand sitting there stunned. Like, they had that. I mean, they were the better team. They were home for Game 7. They just clocked them in Game 6. Like, we thought, you're coming home. Let's finish the deal. And then they have a couple of chances early on in the game. Come out flying, don't score, and then St. Louis scores the first goal, and then the nuts get smaller. The sticks get tighter, and it's over. Like in a millisecond, it seemed, and that's it. Like
that's been the story of the Bruins playoffs, like the last 4, 5, 6 years.
Right.
Like they have chances, and they're just not burying the chances when they need to bury them. They had chances to put Florida away, and then Florida eliminates them. A couple of years back. Then, it just. They've had moments where you're like, if they just could have scored there, series over, game over, Bruins move on. But they haven't been able to score that big goal, get that big goal when they needed to, and it's hurt them, and it's hurt us, it's hurt the fans, it's hurt everybody that watches the team. So hopefully they can figure something out here in the next little while to get over that hump.
I mean, it always seems to be at home. It always seems to be at home when they have a chance. And I think there's this thing at home where the crowd gets a little tight and the team really wants to win in front of the crowd. And it's this I'm a big believer in sports karma, like just the whole feel. Like in the Red Sox taught me that I'm right. Like in 2004, as soon as Kevin Millar said, don't let us win the next one, it just changed the whole mindset. Then they win the next one. Then they win the next one. And then it's just karma is a thing.
Oh, like sure.
Thing. And I think that there needs to be, they need to win a big one at home to kind of lift that monkey off their back. And you thought that it was with Toronto. They win that game with Pastrnak scores to win the series.
Yeah.
Like they need more of those at home.
They need to be more of an not against Toronto.
That's right. It needs to be somebody else.
Toronto, it's like they have that confidence. Against other teams, they don't.
Right. And then what happens? They beat Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, it's a confidence thing. It's a feel thing. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy thing where, as soon as they get down, the fans like, here we go again. And it was the same way with the Red Sox. The Red Sox are losing in the playoffs. Here we go. Like the bullpen's going to implode or whatever the case may be. Like the same thing with the Bruins. Like if the other team scores the first goal in a big game, like at home especially, you're like, well, they're fucked. Fucked now. Like it just there needs to be a attitude shift about the whole thing from fans, from the team, from everyone, where it's like we can still do this. Like we're okay. We'll get through this. We can come back. We've done it before. We're resilient. We've said a million times we're a resilient club. We had the most points in the league a couple of years ago. Like, we can win games. It's just they need to have like a I don't give a fuck kind of an attitude like Millar did, where it's like, there's no pressure on us now. Like, we're supposed to.
Yeah. Everybody thinks we're
We're
lose.
supposed to lose. Everybody thinks we're going to lose. So let's win.
Yeah.
And they just kind of have to change that mindset and win some games. Like you said, win some games at home when it matters the most.
Win it at home. Yeah. All right. Chirp 7. This is Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts, talking about Jeremy Swayman and the Boston Bruins. The last I heard, they weren't close. I think this has been a bit of a challenging negotiation, but they've still got time, and we'll see how this sorts out. So this is what I've been saying all along. They can't be that close, or it would be done.
Correct.
Like, it has to be far apart. I still believe if I'm Jeremy Swayman, I'm saying, yeah, I'll sign a 3 or 4 year deal. And if I'm the Bruins, I'm like, no, I want 7 or 8 because I want to lock you up and make this deal at year 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, an even sweeter deal.
Yeah.
Like, because the cap goes up and it changes the value and all of that. If I'm Swayman, I'm betting on myself and saying I'm going to be a top 4 goalie, like it says here, for the next 4 years. And then when I'm 29 and I'm still in my prime, I might get $10 million a year.
Yeah.
For 5 more years.
Right.
So you can bet on yourself here if you're Swayman and take a shorter deal. That's what I would be thinking if I was Swayman. And if I'm the Bruins, I'm like, no, I'll sign him for 10 years. Like, if at the right number, so that it looks much better down the road. So that's where I think the rubber meets the road. If I was Swayman, I'd be thinking term is the big thing with me.
Yeah, I think you can see it from both sides. I agree with you. I think Swayman is probably saying, I want a lesser term so I can cash in again in a few years. And if I'm the Bruins, I'm saying if you're asking for that kind of money in annual average value, like AAV of upwards of $9 million, we want a longer term so that in a few years when you're, $9 million won't be, the highest paid goalie in the league. It'll look better because the cap will go up. So I can see it from both sides. And eventually, it's going to have to come to pass. The one thing I didn't love about Elliot Friedman's comments there was the very last line where he says, we'll see how this works out. Yeah. It didn't say they'll get a deal done.
Right.
It'll just say, we'll see how this works out. That didn't make me feel great.
No.
That didn't make me feel great. I mean, I think, and he probably thinks, and I know you probably think that a deal will get done, but that makes me a little bit nervous about the whole thing. It doesn't.
Well, when does it get done? Like, are we?
It doesn't sound great.
It doesn't. When does it get done? Does it get done like into training camp? Does it get done into the season? Like, is he going to hold out a little bit? Like, how is he digging his heels into the sand? Are the Bruins going to give in at all? Like, this is what I don't understand. Like, this could really fuck up the season if you start with a guy with your goaltender, your starting goaltender, and the only other goaltenders you have are a minor league guy and a guy who stunk. Like, that's all you have left.
Right.
So if you let this thing go into the season, then it could screw up all the timing and rhythm of the season.
100%.
And you could be digging out of a hole from day one.
Yeah, and that's why I think Swayman has all the leverage. So the Bruins are eventually going to have to cave.
Yes.
And I think it will probably get done, if not right before training camp, into training camp. I don't think he'll be a holdout into the season. I think Swayman has the leverage. My opinion was and is that they should have got this done, the extension done with Swayman before they traded Allmark.
Yes. Because
then the Bruins would have had the leverage, not Swayman. And now the Bruins have lost the leverage because Allmark is gone. And Swayman's like, who are you going to have play goal? Korpisalo with his fucking 4 goals against average? Or Brandon Bussey, who's never played a game in the NHL before? Wow. Those are the guys that you're going to have play goalie? on a team that you expect to challenge for a playoff spot in the league and possibly go further than that. Like they don't have any leverage at all now. Swayman has all the leverage, all of it. And they're going to have to cave to him at some point. And I think it probably will be right before the season starts.
And here's the other sneaky thing about this. Charlie Jacobs was on EEI the other day as the CEO, and he says, I hope that he's ready, meaning Swayman, to play come training camp. If we have some things to work out, I'm sure we'll get there. But I hope that he's ready to play come training camp is a subtle little not great sign either. Like Charlie's basically saying he hopes that happens. He's not sure of it. So that's why I'm thinking I'm not sure what's going to happen by training camp.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably thinking like this negotiation is probably going to go right up to training camp, and he doesn't want him to come into camp out of shape, which we've talked about this before. If people guys come into camp after a holdout, they're usually injured. They usually get
inevitably pull a muscle.
Right yeah. Pull a muscle, pull a hamstring, strain a back, whatever it is. So I think that's Charlie Jacobs' way of saying, look, if you're going to hold out for more money, when you finally get here and we get their shit all ironed out, you better be fucking ready to go. That's what he's saying in not so many words.
Yeah.
I added
after all this, you better be ready to go.
Yeah, you better be fucking ready to go.
Like fart.
Yeah. You better not get hurt. You better be ready to play when you get here. You better be ready to fucking go. Sorry, John, but I had to add the colorful language for for effect.
Charlie's not. Yeah. So I'm with you. I mean, I don't know what the odds are. I wonder if there's odds on DraftKings Sportsbook regarding Jeremy Swayman's contract situation. Wonder if there is. Might have to dig a little deep into the props.
Yeah, get in there. Get in there into the minutia of it all.
Absolutely. And you can get there at DraftKings Sportsbook. Boston's hometown sportsbook is live right here in Massachusetts. Bet local on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with DraftKings. To celebrate, all new customers will receive up to $200 in bonus bets when you sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook using code ITR. You can now bet local on money line, spreads, props, and more with one of America's top-rated sportsbooks. That's DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Sign up with the code ITR to get up to $200 in bonus bets to use. Now that mobile sports betting is live in Massachusetts, that's code ITR, and it's only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
If your loved one is experiencing problems with gambling, call 800-327-5050 or visit helplinema.org to speak with a trained specialist, free and confidentially 24/7. Must be 21 plus, physically present in MASH. Eligibility restrictions apply, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as free bets. Terms at DraftKings.com/MA.
Well, no beauties or benders. This particular.
I do that when no one is.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, there was a trade. Cody Glass went to the Predators or somewhere, from the Predators to the Penguins or something. Yeah. I'm like, out of nowhere, there's a NHL trade. They couldn't wait to get rid of Cody Glass. Had to be now. Had to be August, 12th. Got to get rid of Cody Glass. Wake up in the morning, you're on the beach in Winnipesaukee, and you're like, Jesus, we still have Cody Glass. We got to get rid of this guy. But they needed to move some cap. Did Nashville, and they moved him on to Pittsburgh.
So here's I mean, it's not a beauty or a bender, but here's a guy who, I suppose you could take it however you want, but Ryan Getzlaf is winning NHL player safety. He'll be up in there with George Parros doling out the suspensions and the fines. What do you think of Getzlaf joining player safety?
I'll tell you, can we make Getzlaf the beauty this week, and maybe he'll give the Bruins a little bit of a good shake, because the Bruins always get the big bone.
Let's fucking do it
to the rectum when it comes to player safety. And Parros didn't particularly like the Bruins. Maybe Getzlaf does.
Here we go. Ryan Getzlaf.
Gonna love you, eh? They're gonna be loving you from dawn till dusk.
I'll love your ass from dawn till dusk.
Yeah,
if you don't suspend every little Bruin for every little thing.
Yeah. Let's
come on.
suspend some Florida Panthers, Ryan. How about that?
Yeah, suspend those guys. Yeah. So Getzlaf, look, I'm, I don't know. It's always a tough one. You don't understand like where the league's coming from. They talk about player safety and concussions and players come first and all this stuff, but their actions never seem to match up with their words. And they look, the league is the way it is. If you like a little bit of, every once in a while, someone's going to give a headshot. And if you find entertainment value in that, if you find it helps the game to be a little more edgy and stuff, then just own the friggin' thing. Then just own it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's hard for them to own it because of all the concussion things and the CTE and the lawsuits and all that shit. So, but I'm with you. I mean, just dole out the suspension like you should dole it out. Like have some consistency with it. And the one thing I will say about Getzlaf, he's been around a long time. He's seen a lot of shit. He's been there from when the league was a little more dirty, a little more hard hitting, a little filthier, a little more fights. So he's been around some of that. He's been around when the league was how it is now. So he has some experience, and hopefully that will help him in his decision making with player safety, and hopefully he can make it a little more even-handed rather than kind of, it seems just fucking arbitrary. It seems like they just like a headshot will happen, or a boarding will happen, or a chop or a spear or a trip or whatever it is, and they'll just spin a wheel and be like, all right, that guy gets fined $50 and that guy gets 5 games. And it seems random. So we just make it so that it seems a little more cohesive, a little more structured, a little more even across the board. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. It's just make it consistent. It's like a strike zone. Consistency.
Right. I mean, I don't understand why you just don't have, say, all your suspensions and all the examples and just try to match this example best to the previous example. You know what I'm saying? Like you've got all the examples of the suspensions and the fines and the ones you let go. Then take this example that just happened and line it up with the best possible example you can find and say, okay, this is what we did this time. This is what we'll do this time. And then can take into consideration a guy's past, the guy's done it 10 times, the guy's a complete hammerhead. Then that's a special example. And you add maybe a little bit more to that.
Sure.
But what I don't understand is, like you said, have some sort of process and some sort of rhyme or reason, and take the examples in the past. And it can't be just your feeling that particular day, Ryan Getzlaf. You know what I mean? You just get, I woke up on the wrong side of bed. Fuck these guys. You're getting 5 games.
Yeah.
I'm in a shitty mood. My wife's pissed at me. Like, that's it. You're getting 5 games. That's it. Like, I mean, come on. Like, can you just have some consistency and take the examples previously? Match the friggin' thing up.
That's all you need to do, folks. That's all you need to do.
That's it. All right. So I do have a fun question.
Okay.
As we wrap up here. I heard this recently, and I'm going to throw it out to you guys. All right. You're going to have a party, a real banger. Like, I mean, everybody and your mother is going to be there. Okay. You can invite 3 bands or musicians, whatever. 3 bands to play at your party. The only disclaimer is these bands are current status. So if you have Aerosmith, you get 76-year-old Steven Tyler who can't sing. Like, you can't pick Tom Petty. You can't pick guys who are dead. Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley. You get current status, who's available, and how good they are right now.
Okay.
Who would you pick for your 3?
All right. You did mention this earlier, so I have already given this some thought, and I'm going different genres because I'm going to give a little bit to everybody.
Oh, you're just a swell guy.
Because I'm a nice guy. We want to get everybody up and dancing, not just certain people. So I'm a big U2 guy. U2 has been around forever. They still play. I think they're still good. They have a huge catalog. They can play any type of music. You can get anything from, club mix shit to ballads to
play covers.
Yeah. They got a little bit of everything. So I'm going U2.
Yeah.
I'm going Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Big catalog again. Probably the biggest star on the planet right now. And then I'm going Chris Stapleton, country guy.
Okay.
Soulful voice, huge ticket. I love his music. So I'm going those three. Bang, bang.
That's a well thought out process there. And that's three big ones. Those are three big ones.
Mm-hmm.
People will be talking about that for years. I'm gonna go along the same lines. I thought about this and I was like, you know what? When all is said and done, this is a party. I want banging music. I want the whole thing. So I'm with you. I'm Taylor Swift, Bruno Mars, and like Pitbull. Like let's just fucking fire it up. Let's just let it rain.
It doesn't have anything to do with you looking like Pitbull.
No, I know it has no my doppelganger Pitbull. But the three of those, just music for days, like just dancing.
I saw Bruno Mars in concert. It was a fantastic show.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
It was a great show. Saw him in Vegas. He was tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, he danced, sang. Pitbull's got all sorts of dancers and got all the. My father, who was an usher at the Garden, has done many concerts, hundreds. And he said that Pitbull's one of the best. Like, it's just the energy is off the charts.
Well, that's
Bret Michaels. Well, it seems the current status, Bret Michaels is a little strung out, a little, getting a little, I'll tell you what, he's still pretty good. I mean, he still stays in his lane. He's still pretty good. He's added on other acts to his party gras. Like he's done the right thing. He doesn't try to go out there and play for 2 hours by himself.
Mm-hmm.
But he plays his half dozen songs that are complete bangers. I mean, they're good songs. And they're good party songs. So yeah, Bret Michaels would definitely be considered. But I'm just thinking, is he really in his prime? I mean, I thought Bryan Adams. I thought, just guys who have a huge catalog, can play a lot of songs.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the types of guys that can. But I'm just worried about, what am I getting at, 60-year-old Bryan Adams or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Right.
So I just more in prime. And I go along those lines. Does Connor have three? Because he was fretting over this. He wanted posthumous people, and
he wanted dead guys.
He wanted dead guys, and old girlfriends, and Metallica, Luke Bryan, and Eminem. That's solid.
That's really good. Yeah,
that's three different genres. That's three different big time acts. Yeah, I mean, sure. That's a good one.
I'm a fan of that. I would go to all of our shows.
I would. I mean, I can't wait for you guys to invite me to this party.
I have been sweating that fucking question all goddamn
I
day.
know. It ruined your life, and I was, I mean,
as soon as he said no dead artists, I was really thrown for a loop.
Yeah, there wasn't enough medical assistance to get you through that. So we're happy that you were able to plug away.
Yeah.
And get that done. But that's three solid ones. I mean, that's a good party right there.
It is.
That's a really good party. It's a summer day. That's an all-dayer.
Oh, yeah.
That's starting out with Luke Bryan getting the party loose. And then Metallica bangs your head off, and then Eminem tells the story on the way out. See you later.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
Nice job. Well, hey, thanks for listening, everybody. It's the middle of August, nothing going on. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support. If you'd like to support the show, please head over.
You can't get back.
What's that?
I said it's an hour of your life you can't get back.
It's an hour of life. 54 minutes and 12 seconds of the best of your life. Head over to our merch shop, grab some Bruins Benders merch with our new logo. Hit the subscribe button, like and follow us on social media. Leave a comment of your thoughts. It is free to interact with us on our show. We're excited to get this campaign off this year. It's going to be a great season of Bruins hockey and the Bruins Benders podcast. And coming up later in August, ITR is giving away an NHL jersey of your choice from Fanatics. All you have to do to win is subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Inside the Rink YouTube channel, and you can win a jersey. So there you have it. And that's it for us as we say goodbye. And we'll be gone next week. We're going to take a week off next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks with the Bruins Benders Podcast. Until then, as always, go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.